My fiancée told me her ex proposed, and she said yes. So I sent everything to his controlling mother. Then I canceled the wedding, returned the ring, and packed her stuff. 1 week later, she showed up at my door screaming, "Sup, Reddit. Grab some snacks, because this one's a ride." I've been sitting on this story for a few months now, and I think I'm finally ready to tell it. You should be grateful I'm telling you instead of just cheating. That's what my fiancé said to me, while wearing my ring, while standing in the house I bought, while looking at me like I should be falling to my knees and thanking her for her honesty. I'm Damon, 26 male, lineman for Pacific Power based out of Bend, Oregon. I climb utility poles and fix power lines for a living, sometimes in freezing rain at 2 in the morning, sometimes in 100-degree heat while wildfire smoke chokes the entire valley, sometimes hanging off a bucket truck on the side of Highway 97 while semis blow past at 70 miles an hour, close enough to feel the draft. Last winter, I spent 18 hours straight in an ice storm, restoring power to 300 homes. The temperature never got above 20 degrees. My fingers were so cold I could barely grip my tools. 2 guys on my crew got frostbite. We got it done anyway because that's what we do. The point is, I've learned to stay calm when everything's going sideways. You can't panic at 60 feet in the air with 12,000 volts humming next to your head. You figure it out, you deal with it, you handle it. But standing in my living room listening to Taylor tell me she'd accepted another man's proposal, my brain just stopped working for like 30 seconds. I stood there, work boots still on, lunch bag still in my hand, trying to figure out if I'd heard her right. I'd been with her for 2.5 years. Met her at a coffee shop in downtown Bend. I was with my crew after a brutal restoration shift that had us working 16 hours straight. She was with her friends, celebrating some promotion at the pharmaceutical company where she worked. She laughed at something I said. I bought her a coffee and we clicked. Or so I thought. She was 25, ambitious, smart, had this way of making you feel like you were the only person in the room when she talked to you. She could zero in on you and make you feel special. We'd been engaged for 7 months. The wedding was supposed to happen in 5 months. Venue booked at this vineyard outside Sisters, with views of the Cascades. Deposits paid on catering, photography, the DJ. My mom had already started a group chat about the seating chart. My dad was buying a new suit for the first time in 10 years. Everything was locked in. I came home that Wednesday around 6 after a standard shift. My truck was dirty, I was tired, and I was thinking about grabbing a shower and ordering food. Taylor was sitting on the couch with this look I'd never seen before, like a kid who broke something and thinks they're about to talk their way out of it. We need to talk. I need to be honest with you about something. Those words have never come before anything good. Ever. I was thinking maybe she crashed my truck. Maybe she maxed out the credit card again. Maybe her mother was moving in with us. Something annoying but manageable. Nope. Harry proposed to me on Monday. I said yes. I just stared at her. Didn't move. Didn't speak. My brain was buffering. Wait, what? Harry. From college. He proposed. And I said yes. You're engaged. To me. I know. That's why I'm telling you. I'm choosing him. Then I laughed. Because surely this was a joke. Some prank. Maybe her younger sister Kylie put her up to this. Kylie was always pulling stunts to get reactions out of people. She once told me Taylor was in the hospital just to see if I'd leave work early. But Taylor didn't laugh. She just stood there with this patient look. Then she started talking, and somehow it got worse. Harry was her college boyfriend. They'd dated for almost 3 years at Oregon State. Broke up 4 years ago, right before graduation. He'd been working in Seattle, climbing the corporate ladder at some medical supply company, but he'd transferred to their Bend office about 3 months ago. They'd been reconnecting. Coffee after work. Lunches that went long. The feelings never went away. He was her soulmate. The one who got away. And here's the line that still makes me want to put my fist through the wall whenever I think about it. She said she'd settled for me because she thought Harry was gone forever. I was stable. I was nice. I had good benefits. I was good enough for now. But now Harry was back, and she had to follow her heart. Good enough for now. I bought this house. Took every overtime shift available for 2 years straight. Worked holidays while everyone else was with their families. Worked weekends. I proposed with a ring I'd been making payments on for 8 months because I wanted to give her something nice. And I was good enough for now. Get out. I didn't yell. My voice was dead calm. Damon, come on. Can we talk about this like adults? I'm being honest with you here. You just told me I was your backup plan. Get out of my house. Right now. She actually looked offended. Like I was the one being unreasonable. After I spent 2 years building a future with her, she packed a bag. I sat on the couch the entire time, not moving, just running through stuff in my head. What deposits could I get back? How to tell my family? What to do with the ring? How to change the locks? When to call a locksmith? Practical stuff. The emotions would come later, probably at 3 in the morning when I couldn't sleep. Right now, I was in crisis mode. Before she left, she paused at the door and turned around like she was waiting for me to apologize. I hope you can be happy for me eventually. Harry and I are meant to be. This doesn't have to be ugly. Happy for you? Get out of my house. She left. An hour later, because she apparently had zero self-awareness, she texted me. I'm sorry this hurts you, but I have to follow my heart. Harry is my destiny. You'll find someone who deserves you. I screenshotted that text. Felt like I might need it later. Then I called her parents, thinking surely they'd be horrified. Their daughter just blew up an engagement to chase her college ex. They'd talk sense into her. Wrong again. Her dad sounded almost relieved. Harry's a good guy, Damon. Comes from a good family. His parents own car dealerships, successful people. We always liked him. They should have ended up together from the start. Her mom added that I was taking this too personally, that at least Taylor was being honest instead of leading me on, that I should be grateful for her maturity. I hung up on them. Then my phone rang again. My younger brother Colton. Dude, what just happened? Taylor's sister just posted some cryptic thing about soulmates finding their way back to each other. Tell me that's not about what I think it's about. I told him everything. Didn't sugarcoat it. Long silence on his end. 10 seconds. 15. She actually said that? Those exact words? That she settled? Yep. Good enough for now. Where does this Harry guy live? Why? I just want to talk to him. Colton is 23. Shorter than me but built like a fire hydrant from years of wrestling and now MMA training. His idea of talking to someone usually involves that person's face meeting concrete at high velocity. He once broke a guy's nose for calling our mom a name at a restaurant. Took 2 bouncers to pull him off, and he was still swinging. Stand down. I appreciate it, but I got this. Got what exactly? What's the play? I don't know yet, but there's gonna be one. The next few days were rough. I'm not gonna pretend I handled it like some stoic dude who felt nothing. I slept like garbage. 3 hours a night. Kept waking up at 2 in the morning staring at the ceiling. Couldn't focus at work. Almost grabbed a live line on Thursday because my head was somewhere else entirely. My foreman Gus saw it happen from the ground, grabbed my safety line, and yanked me back. Damon, what was that? I don't know. Wasn't paying attention? Yeah, no kidding. Take a few days. Go home. Figure out whatever's going on in your head before you get yourself killed up there. Or get someone else killed. He wasn't wrong. A distracted lineman is a dead lineman. Wasn't gonna be that guy. I spent that weekend doing 2 things. Eating more junk food than I should have, and researching Harry Calloway like I was planning a military operation. Colton came over Saturday morning with coffee, breakfast burritos from the good place downtown, and his laptop. He didn't ask how I was doing. He just sat down and got to work. All right, let's figure out who this clown is. LinkedIn was first. Harry Calloway, regional account manager at a medical supply company, 27 years old. Transferred to their Bend office 3 months ago from Seattle. Went to Oregon State, same as Taylor. His professional headshot looked like a stock photo of generic corporate bro. Perfect hair, perfect teeth, perfect punchable face, then Facebook. And this is where it got really interesting. Harry had 0 privacy settings. His entire profile was public. But that's not what caught my attention. What caught my attention was his mother. Every 3rd post mentioned her. Photos with mom at brunch. Mom's famous pot roast recipe. Best Mother's Day with the best mom ever. Sunday dinner with my #1 supporter. Grateful for a mother who always has my back. The posts went back years, and they never stopped. His mother, Deborah, commented on everything he posted. Every single thing. He mentioned having a good day at work. She replied, "My perfect son always shines." He posted a photo of himself at the gym. She replied, "Looking handsome as always, my boy," and so on. Colton made a gagging noise next to me. This is actually creepy. Dude. Colton was reading over my shoulder, burrito halfway to his mouth. Is this guy for real? He's 27 and his mom comments on everything like he's still in kindergarten? It gets better. I found Deborah Calloway's profile. Also public. Even more obsessive than Harry's. Her entire online presence was basically a shrine to her adult son. Every post was about how successful he was, how handsome, how talented, how he was destined for greatness, how some lucky woman would be blessed to marry him someday, a woman worthy of her perfect boy. Then, I found gold. An old post from 4 years ago on Harry's Facebook wall. Some college buddy had commented, "I can't believe your mom made you break up with Taylor. She was cool." You guys were solid for 3 years. And Deborah had replied, because of course she had. She watched everything. Harry deserves someone who puts family first. That girl was too focused on her career and herself. She wasn't suitable. He'll find someone better when I approve of them. 4 years ago, Deborah didn't approve of Taylor, made Harry dump her. And now Harry had proposed to Taylor, without telling Mommy, without getting her blessing. I showed Colton. He started laughing so hard coffee came out his nose. Bro, this dude dumped Taylor 4 years ago because his mommy told him to. And now he proposed to the same girl without asking permission first? This is gonna be beautiful. But I wasn't ready to make a move yet. I needed more ammo. Through a buddy of mine who worked in the same building as Harry's company, I learned some things. Harry called his mother every single day during lunch. Noon on the dot. Never missed. Not once. The entire office joked about it behind his back. Mama's boy Calloway. It was apparently hilarious until you had to actually work with him. Also learned Harry was kind of a tool at work, the type who took credit for other people's ideas in meetings, who threw people under the bus when projects went sideways, who kissed up hard to management and kicked down on everyone beneath him. And here's something else interesting. He had a pattern with women. He'd dated a few people at the Seattle office before transferring. According to the gossip, he'd ghost them the second his mother showed any disapproval. One woman he'd been seeing for 6 months. Deborah met her once, said she was unsuitable, and Harry ended it via text that same night. The picture was coming together now. Harry was completely spineless when it came to his mother. He'd dumped Taylor before because Mommy didn't approve. Nothing had changed except his job title and address. Taylor had no idea what she'd actually signed up for, but I wasn't going to just wait for that to play out naturally. Nature was too slow. I was going to speed things up. Before I could make my move, Taylor's sister Kylie inserted herself into the situation. Kylie was 24, 2 years younger than Taylor, possibly the most exhausting person I'd ever met. She was the type who posted inspirational quotes about positivity and kindness while simultaneously trying to destroy everyone around her. She'd never liked me, thought Taylor was settling for someone beneath her. She'd made passive-aggressive comments at every single family gathering for 2 years. Oh, Damon works outside? That must be nice to not have a real career. Or, it's so great that Taylor isn't superficial about money and success. Just constant little digs that she'd play off as jokes if you called her out. She showed up at my house Monday evening. Just walked right in through the front door like she owned the place. I was on the couch watching TV and eating. We need to talk about the house situation. I didn't even look at her. There is no house situation. Taylor's gonna need the house, Damon. She and Harry are planning their future together. You should start looking for an apartment. Now I looked at her. Actually turned my head to make sure I was hearing what I thought I was hearing. You want me to give up my house? The house I bought. That I pay for. She contributed emotionally to this household. That has value. Get out. You're being unreasonable. Taylor gave you 2.5 years of her life. The least you can do is, Kylie, door, now, or I'm calling the cops. She left, but not before telling me her lawyer would be in touch about the property situation. I was pretty sure she didn't actually have a lawyer. She worked at a boutique clothing store and still lived in an apartment her parents helped pay for. But I noted the threat anyway. Word got around to my crew pretty fast. Guys I'd worked with for years started checking in. One of them, big dude named Ricky, offered to have a conversation with Harry. I told him I appreciated it, but I had my own plan. Another guy dropped off a pizza at my place with a note that just said, her loss, brother. 30 minutes later, Colton showed up. He'd seen Kylie's car leaving my street and wanted to make sure everything was okay. Please tell me you didn't let that harpy push you around. She tried to convince me to give Taylor my house. He stared at me for a second. Then he sat down, grabbed a slice of my pizza, and shook his head slowly. Bro, these people are completely out of their minds. You need to go nuclear, working on it. But I gotta be smart about it. No point burning everything down if I get caught in the fire myself. What's the plan? I told him about Harry's mother. Colton grinned. The mom's gonna lose her mind when she finds out. Her precious baby boy making major life decisions without her permission. I was gonna put together a complete package. Everything documented so she can't just brush it off as some jealous ex ranting. Colton nodded slowly, already thinking ahead. What do you need from me? Find out when Harry's mother visits Bend. He posts everything on Facebook. I'll dig into it. He was already on his phone scrolling through Facebook. Oh, you know Harry's gym? Yeah. Iron Mountain. Why? My buddy Eli works the front desk there. Says Harry goes every single morning at 6. Same time, same locker, same routine, never changes it up. Total creature of habit. So? So maybe you start going to that gym again, just existing in his space. I thought about it. Petty? Absolutely. But whatever. I'm in. Colton grinned. Let's make this clown uncomfortable. The next 2 weeks were about execution. Every morning at 6, I was at Iron Mountain Gym. Same time I'd always gone back when I was a member. Same routine. Harry happened to be there at the same time. I didn't talk to him. Didn't acknowledge him most days. Just worked out in his general area. Happened to use the bench press next to his. Happened to do pull-ups where he could see me. Happened to lift heavier than him every single time. The first few days, he pretended not to notice me. Just went about his routine with headphones in, aggressively ignoring me. By day 5, he was getting visibly nervous. I could see him glancing over every few minutes, checking where I was in the gym. His form got sloppier because he was distracted. His rest periods got shorter because he wanted to leave faster. By day 10, he started changing his schedule to avoid me. My buddy Eli mentioned Harry was coming in at 7 now instead of 6, then 5:30, then random times throughout the week. I wasn't changing my schedule for that clown. I kept showing up at 6 like I always had, but every time he walked in and saw me already there, I could see his whole body tense up. One morning, I made direct eye contact with him across the weight room. Didn't say anything, just gave him the smallest possible nod, just enough to let him know I saw him. His face went pale. He racked his weights mid-set, grabbed his bag, and practically jogged to the locker room. Left his water bottle on the bench. I finished my workout, then dropped his bottle in the lost and found on my way out. Eventually, he started going to a completely different gym across town. Eli told me Harry had switched to someplace near the mall. Didn't matter. The message had been delivered. Meanwhile, I was building my package. Screenshots of everything with timestamps visible. Taylor's Instagram story, where she'd posted a photo of Harry's ring with some gushing caption about dreams coming true before deleting it 2 hours later. Too late. I'd already saved it. Text messages where she called Harry her destiny. The text where she told me I was good enough for now. Our wedding venue contract showing both our names and the dates. Photos from our engagement party where she was smiling and toasting to our future. I also documented Kylie's attempt to take my house. Screenshotted her text about having her lawyer contact me. Noted the date, time, and exact words she'd used when she walked into my place without permission. Colton came through with info on Harry's mother. Deborah visited Bend every third weekend like clockwork. Stayed at Harry's apartment from Friday night through Sunday afternoon. Her next visit was in 10 days. Here's where I got creative about delivery. I wasn't going to just message Deborah on Facebook. That could be ignored. Written off as some crazy jealous ex. Filtered into spam. I needed something she couldn't look away from. Colton's girlfriend Haley worked at a print shop downtown. For $50 plus a box of fancy chocolates as a thank you, she made me a professional-looking presentation folder with a clear plastic cover. Inside, a printed timeline of events with dates highlighted, screenshots of Taylor's proposal announcement before deletion, photos of our engagement party, copies of our wedding venue contracts with deposits highlighted, and a simple cover letter. The cover letter explained that Harry had recently proposed to a woman named Taylor, that Taylor had been engaged to me for 7 months before accepting Harry's proposal, that Harry had not told his family about this relationship before proposing. That I thought, as Harry's mother, she would want to know the full situation before things went any further. The Saturday of Deborah's visit, I drove to Harry's apartment complex around 8 in the morning. He'd posted about her arrival the night before. Mom's in town, best weekend coming up, with 3 heart emojis and a family photo. I parked down the street and waited in my truck until I saw them leave for breakfast. Harry's silver BMW pulled out of the lot around 9. I walked up to his building, slipped the folder under his apartment door, and left. On the drive back, Colton called. "It's done? It's done. Now we wait." Then I drove to the gym and worked out for 2 hours. What happened next was better than I could have hoped for. I got the full story from multiple sources over the next few days. Colton's buddy Eli at the gym heard things. My friend at Harry's company building heard more. Apparently, Deborah and Harry came back from breakfast around 11 that Saturday. Some fancy brunch spot downtown where you have to make reservations. Harry was feeling great. Quality time with his favorite person. Life was perfect. Then Deborah saw the folder on the floor inside his door. She picked it up, started reading the cover letter. According to Harry's neighbor, who heard everything through the thin walls, Deborah didn't say a single word for almost 10 minutes after she started reading. Just stood there in his living room, flipping through page after page, her breathing getting heavier. Harry kept asking what was wrong, what was in the folder. She wouldn't answer. Then she started screaming. Harry tried to explain, tried to calm her down, tried to tell her that Taylor had changed and that things were different now. But Deborah was way past calm. She'd spent 4 years believing she'd saved her precious son from an unsuitable woman, and now she found out he'd not only reconnected with that woman, but had proposed to her, without asking permission. The words the neighbor heard through the walls included ungrateful and deceitful, and how dare you, and after everything I've done for you. Harry was crying within 10 minutes. The whole thing was loud enough that 2 other neighbors came out into the hallway to see what was happening. One of them later told a friend who told Eli that Deborah was pacing around the apartment, waving the folder in the air, like evidence in a courtroom. By noon, he called Taylor. My contact at his company building got the story from someone in the break room who overheard the entire call. Harry was sobbing into his phone. He told Taylor his mother was furious, that this was a mistake, that they couldn't be together after all, that she needed to not contact him again. Taylor tried to reason with him, reminded him that they were supposed to build a life together, that he was a grown man who didn't need his mother's permission for anything. That last line was a big mistake. According to the eavesdropper, Harry's voice went ice cold. He said you will never understand what family really means, and hung up mid-sentence. Colton called me that afternoon with the update. Bro, it worked. Harry dumped her. His mom went absolutely nuclear. By Saturday evening, my phone was blowing up. Taylor was texting from numbers I didn't recognize because I'd already blocked her number after the breakup. You did this. I know you did this. How could you be so cruel? I didn't respond. She kept texting, called me pathetic, said I couldn't handle being rejected, so I had to ruin her life, said I was obsessed with her, said she was going to make me pay for this. Still didn't respond. Then she showed up at my house Sunday afternoon. I was on my back porch with Colton. We were grilling burgers and enjoying the chaos from a safe distance. I'd been getting updates all weekend, and the whole situation was playing out better than I could have scripted. Colton looked up from his phone. Heads up. Incoming crazy at 12 o'clock. I know. I can hear her car. Taylor came stomping around the side of the house without bothering to knock. Her eyes were red and swollen. She looked like she hadn't slept in 2 days. You did this. I know you did this. I flipped a burger calmly. Did what? Don't play dumb. Harry won't even look at me. His mother called me a homewrecker in front of everyone. Sounds like a Harry problem. You sent that folder. Admit it. I turned to look at her. Taylor, I didn't make him choose his mom. He did that all by himself. Same thing he did 4 years ago. You knew exactly who he was. She stood there with her mouth open, trying to find words that wouldn't come. Colton spoke up from his lawn chair without even looking at her. You should probably leave now. She left, but I knew she wasn't done. Taylor's revenge attempt was almost impressive in how badly it failed. 3 days after the meltdown, I got a call from my foreman Gus while I was on a job site. Damon, quick question for you. Did you threaten someone named Harry? What? No. Never even talked to the guy. Why? Got a call from some woman claiming you've been stalking and threatening her fiancé, following him around, making threats at the gym, showing up at his apartment. She says she's filing a police report and wants you fired. I explained the entire situation. I'd never said a word to the man, never threatened him, never did anything except exist in a public gym at the same time. Gus knew me, knew my work ethic. I believe you, but cover yourself legally. Get documentation of everything. I thanked him and made some calls. My buddy Eli at the gym sent me time-stamped check-in records going back 18 months proving my long membership. He also pulled security footage from multiple dates showing me doing nothing but working out and minding my own business. Not once approaching Harry. Not once talking to him. Eli texted me after he sent everything over. Dude, this footage is hilarious. You can literally see him panicking every time you walk by. Guy looks like he's being haunted. Colton knew a guy who knew a paralegal. Got some basic legal guidance. Going to the same public gym as someone at the same time you've always gone isn't stalking. Not even close. Especially when you have records proving you've been a member for years before the other person ever showed up. Taylor's police report went nowhere. The officer who followed up with her basically told her that a guy going to his own gym at his normal time wasn't criminal behavior. He suggested she stop wasting police resources. Case closed. But she wasn't done. Kylie got involved next. Of course she did. Those two were like a hydra of bad decisions. She started spreading rumors, telling anyone who would listen that I was obsessed with Taylor, that I couldn't accept rejection, that I'd been stalking Harry for weeks. She posted stuff on social media about abusive exes who can't handle being dumped, named no names but made it obvious who she was talking about. Here's the thing about small towns, though. People know people. And my crew had been working power restoration in this area for years. We'd been there when people needed their lights back on. People knew us, trusted us. The rumors didn't stick. Most people who heard them asked around got the real story and figured out that Kylie was full of it. A few people even reached out directly to tell me what she was saying. They thought the whole thing was ridiculous. But I got petty anyway. Couldn't help myself. The opportunity was too perfect. Kylie drove a white Subaru Outback completely covered in bumper stickers. Live, laugh, love. Good vibes only. Be kind. Choose joy. I noticed she parked in the exact same spot at her yoga studio every Tuesday and Thursday evening. Same spot, same time. Creature of habit just like Harry. I had Colton order a custom window cling online. The removable kind that peels right off. Simple black text on white background. It said I peaked in high school. Cost $8 including shipping. One Thursday evening, while Kylie was inside doing downward dog or warrior pose or whatever, Colton casually walked through the parking lot with his hands in his pockets and stuck that cling right on her rear window next to her good vibes only sticker. She drove around town for 4 full days before anyone told her. According to Colton's girlfriend, who heard from a mutual friend who was at the scene, Kylie had a complete meltdown in a coffee shop when she finally found it. She accused the barista of being in on it, accused other customers of laughing at her, started crying. It was apparently quite a scene. The cling peeled right off, but the damage to her ego was permanent. Was it mature? Nope. Was it hilarious? Absolutely. But the real backfire came a week later. Taylor, desperate to hurt me somehow, filed a formal complaint with Pacific Power's corporate office. Claimed I'd been using company time and company resources to stalk her and Harry. Demanded I be investigated and fired immediately. Our HR department had to investigate. Standard procedure for any formal complaint. They pulled my timesheets, my GPS logs from the work truck, my project assignments, everything. Every single claim Taylor made fell apart under basic scrutiny. I'd been on documented job sites during every single time she claimed I was following her or Harry. My GPS logs showed my work truck at verified locations. My crew verified I'd been with them. The investigation took about a week and a half. At the end, HR determined the complaint was completely without merit and closed it out. But that wasn't quite the end. My foreman Gus told me later that someone from the company reached out to Taylor directly, told her that her complaint had been investigated and found to be baseless, told her that any further contact with Pacific Power employees regarding this matter would be considered harassment, strongly suggested she move on with her life. Whatever they told her, it worked. Harry transferred back to Seattle within 6 weeks of the meltdown. Apparently, the combination of office gossip about his public humiliation, his mother's ongoing anger at his disobedience, and running into Taylor around their shared office building every single day was more than he could handle. He didn't fight for her, didn't stand up to his mother, didn't even try to make it work, just packed up and ran like the spineless mama's boy he'd always been. Before he left, he posted on Facebook about taking an exciting new opportunity back in Seattle. His mother commented immediately, "My boy knows when to make smart choices. I'm so proud of you." Taylor stayed at her job because she couldn't afford to quit. But according to people who worked there, her reputation was shot. Everyone knew she'd accepted a proposal from one man while engaged to another. Everyone knew she'd been dumped again by the same mama's boy who dumped her 4 years earlier. She apparently tried to spin a story where I was the villain, the obsessed ex who couldn't let go. But the police report that went nowhere and the HR complaint that blew up in her face made that story impossible to sell. Her relationship with her parents got rocky too. They'd been the ones pushing her toward Harry for years, telling her he was the one, encouraging her to reconnect with him when he moved back to Oregon. Now they were embarrassed because everyone in their social circle knew what happened. They started distancing themselves from the whole mess. The mutual friend situation sorted itself out fast. Within 2 weeks, 6 different people who used to hang with both of us reached out to me. Every single one said some version of the same thing. "Dude, we had no idea she was like this." A few of them cut her off entirely. Kylie never forgave me for the window cling. Probably never will. She told anyone who would listen that I was a psycho stalker who should be in prison. The wedding venue was a battle. They wanted to keep my entire $3,000 deposit. I expected that fight, but I also knew one of the owners from a restoration job we'd done after a windstorm took out their power for 3 days right before a major event. I'd personally worked a double shift to get them back online in time, called in that favor, explained the situation honestly, and got 2/3 of my deposit back. 5 weeks after the meltdown, Taylor made one final attempt to reach me. I was at a restaurant downtown with Colton and some of the crew. Ricky was there, along with a few other guys from work. We were celebrating a good month, blowing off steam. Taylor walked in around 9, saw me at our table across the room, made a beeline straight over without hesitation. She looked rough, Damon, can we talk? 1 minute, please. Colton tensed up across the table. Ricky stood up like he was ready to step in. I looked at her for a long moment. Then I stood up. 1 minute. We stepped outside into the parking lot. I made a mistake. She started talking immediately. I was stupid. I was chasing something that wasn't real. I waited. Let her get it out. I miss you. I miss us. Harry was never going to be what I thought. She looked at me with tears forming, probably expecting me to soften. You said you settled for me. Your exact words? I was confused. I didn't mean, yeah, you did. That was the first honest thing you ever said to me. She started crying for real now. We're done, Taylor. Don't contact me again. I walked back inside without looking back. Sat down at my table. Colton slid a fresh soda across to me. You good? Yeah, I'm good. That was the last time I talked to Taylor. Eventually, she stopped. Ran out of ways to contact me. Life's been genuinely good since everything settled down. I threw out everything in the house that reminded me of Taylor. Repainted the bedroom a different color. Bought new furniture for the living room. The engagement ring went back to the jeweler. They gave me 60% of what I paid, which was more than I expected. Used the money to upgrade my truck's suspension and bought Colton a really nice thank you gift for all his help through everything. Do I feel bad for her? Honestly, not really. She made a choice. She looked at 2.5 years together, an engagement, a wedding we were actively planning, a house I'd bought partly with our future in mind, and decided I was disposable. She expected me to accept it gracefully. She expected wrong. I used to lie awake wondering what was wrong with me, why she'd picked him over me. Now I know the answer. Nothing was wrong with me. Everything was wrong with her judgment. She picked a spineless mama's boy over a guy who actually showed up for her every single day. That's not on me. That's on her. Better a broken engagement than a divorce. Guys, we are so close to hit 100,000 subscribers on this channel. If you are not subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing. It really helps hit that 100,000 mark. Thanks for making this dream come true.